So we learned two new things today about Judas and about the 30 pieces of silver. I'd like to show you what we read and see what you think as well, because these were two things that I hadn't really considered before. So here you go.
So firstly, we read that in Matthew 27, verse 3, which is also talked about in Acts 1:18-19, when Judas the traitor learned that Jesus had been condemned, he repented and took back the 30 silver coins to the chief priests and the elders. "I have sinned by betraying an innocent man to death," he said. "What do we care about that?" they answered. "That is your business." Judas threw the coins down in the temple and left. Then he went off and hanged himself. We see then they used the money to buy potter's fields as a cemetery for foreigners. And this is to complete the prophecy when Jeremiah said they took the 30 silver coins, the amount the people of Israel had agreed to pay for him, and used the money to buy the potter's field as the Lord had commanded him. And we see previously in Matthew 26, verse 14, then one of the 12 disciples, the one named Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, "What will you give me if I betray Jesus to you?" They counted out 30 silver coins and gave them to them. From then on, Judas was looking for a good chance to hand Jesus over to them. So two things that struck us there. One, which is what my daughter pointed out to me earlier, like, oh, Judas actually repented. We think of Judas that, he was the traitor. Because of his actions, Jesus was condemned to death. Now we know that God uses these bad things, people's actions, to carry out his will. And his will for us was that his son would die on the cross for us so that we could be saved. So God used that. But Judas actually repented, and I didn't appreciate that before. He repented. He took back the 30 silver coins to the chief priests. "I have sinned by betraying an innocent man to death." When he realizes what he's done, and he can't get the money back, he can't pay back, he can't take back what he's done, he goes and hangs himself. Which is crazy, but that is what happened. And the second thing that I found was really interesting is the 30 silver coins. I'd never thought of what's the relevance of that. We saw just there in the text before that he asked them, Judas asked the chief priests, "What would you give me? What will you give me if I betray Jesus to you?" Now, it wasn't just betraying Jesus, it was giving him up to die. They were looking for a chance to kill Jesus. So those 30 silver coins was the value that they placed on Jesus' life. They seemed to want him dead more than anything else. But the value they put on his life was 30 silver coins. Now I want to show you something interesting. So where do we see 30 pieces of silver in scripture previously? Does it have any relevance? We see here in Exodus 21, verse 32, got the responsibility of owners. When a bull kills someone, puts them to death, we see different penalties here. In 32, we see if the bull kills a male or female slave, its owner shall pay the owner of the slave 30 pieces of silver, and the bull shall be stoned to death. Does that have any relevance here? Jesus is not a slave. This would be the worth of a slave's life. Okay? Now, look with me somewhere else. Here, Leviticus 27, laws concerning gifts to the Lord. The Lord gave Moses the following regulations for the people of Israel. When a person has been given to the Lord in fulfillment of a special vow, i.e. to be dedicated to the Lord, that person may be set free by the payment of the following sums of money, according to the official standard. It also says in the NLT, dedicated to the Lord, and the value of the person placed. Okay, so this is what they considered. Well, the Lord is giving this. This is what they are valued to. This is not talking about, oh, male, female, equality, things like this. I'm just reading you what it says here in Scripture. What do we see? An adult male, 20 to 60 years old, 50 pieces of silver. How old is Jesus when he died? Reason to believe he was 33 years old. 50 pieces of silver. Adult female, 30 pieces of silver. Young male, 5 to 20 years, 20 pieces of silver. Male above 60 years, 15 pieces of silver. So we see the different values placed on, why would a young man of 25 to 20 years, adult male, of 20 to 60 years, be worth more? Well, think about it. This is a man. He's providing for his family, looking after all his children and his wife, and he can work. He can work hard. Jesus should have been worth 50 pieces of silver. But yet, what did the chief priest give him? They paid 30. The value of a slave or a woman? They didn't pay the true value of his life. Isn't that interesting? Tell me what you think about this. And also, I've forgotten there's another reference as well to 30 pieces of silver. And I haven't yet found the Jeremiah passage, because it talked about in Matthew about, oh, this is written about in Jeremiah. I've yet to find that. But the last thing I wanted to say was in Zechariah 11. The Lord is talking to Zechariah and telling him to act the part of the shepherd of a flock of sheep that are going to be butchered. And in part of that, well, I'll read the passage, I'll show it to you. But I think you'll find this interesting too. So here we are, Zechariah 11, the two shepherds. So he's talking about two shepherds, but also two sticks, favour and unity. But I just want to read this passage here. Here we go. The covenant was cancelled with Israel. Okay, think about that. Those who bought and sold the sheep were watching me, and they knew that the Lord was speaking through what I did. I said to them, if you are willing, give me my wages, but if not, keep them. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver as my wages. Okay, so that's their choice. That's their choice. The Lord said to me, put them in the temple treasury. Now it also says here, look at this. Some ancient translations put them in the temple treasury. Hebrew, give them to the potter. Where did we see that before? The potter's fields. So, this is cool. So here we go. Once again, sorry, I've lost my place. The Lord said to me, put them in, give them to the potter. Put them in the temple treasury. So I took the 30 pieces of silver, the magnificent sum they thought I was worth. Okay, I'm being sarcastic here, yeah? It's not a great sum. 30 pieces of silver as the shepherd's wages, the shepherd who is looking after his sheep. 30 pieces of silver, that's his wages. And put them in the temple treasury. Then I broke the second stick, the one called unity, and the unity of Judah and Israel was shattered. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that cool? I've never noticed this before, so I'm just sharing what we learned today. So just quickly, just Matthew 27 again, just to show you again. Judas the traitor, he learns that Jesus has been condemned. The good shepherd has been condemned. rejected as the king of Israel, the king of the Jews. Who he is, he's rejected by the high priests. The same people, he's tried by the same people that he is the king of. He is the great high priest. So, I have sinned by betraying an innocent man to death. He said, what do we care about that? They answered, that is your business. So Judas threw the coins down in the temple and left. Then he went on and hanged himself. The chief priest picked up the coins and said, this is blood money, and it is against our law to put it in the temple treasury. Well, but they do it anyway, don't they? The potter's field. Throw it to the potter, the temple treasury. After reaching an agreement about it, they used the money to buy potter's field as a cemetery for foreigners. And that is why the field is called Field of Blood to this day. And it says about the prophet Jeremiah said came true, which I haven't found yet. They took the 30 silver coins, the amount the people of Israel had agreed to pay for him, and used the money to buy the potter's field as the Lord had commanded me. Isn't that interesting? And if they know the scriptures, they may have realized what they were doing. He is the king of the Jews. He is the king of Israel. But he's rejected. And this is, we can do this one next time. This would be interesting to do as well. Anyway.
Yeah, so let me know what you think about all that. The Bible is amazing when you really read it and think about it all. And yeah, anyway, that's enough from me. Bye.